All right, so diving right in, you guys sent this story in, and it's about a lemonade stand,
Hmm.
a 10-year-old girl named Mia. And wow, what a story.
Yeah.
It's a real tearjerker.
It is. It's one of those stories that really gets you in the feels and makes you think about how small the world can be.
Yeah.
You've got this girl, Mia, and she's just trying to help her mom who's battling stage 3 breast cancer.
Right.
And then, like, out of nowhere, Elon Musk shows up and their lives are suddenly intertwined. It's pretty wild.
It really is. And, you start reading it, and you get this really heartwarming description of Mia and her mom, Jennifer, and you can just tell they have this amazing bond.
Yeah, you can definitely sense that closeness, which makes the whole cancer diagnosis even harder.
Yeah.
It's not just about the medical battle, it's about the disruption of this really loving relationship.
Yeah.
The fear and uncertainty that comes with a diagnosis like that can just be so overwhelming.
Absolutely. And it mentions her dad working double shifts and the medical bills piling up, which is a situation so many families unfortunately know all too well.
It's true. A health crisis can quickly turn into a financial crisis, and it's that harsh reality that makes Mia's decision to take action so inspiring.
Mm.
So she sets up this lemonade stand on Cedar Avenue in Fremont, California, just determined to do whatever she can to help.
You know what gets me? She's only 10 years old, right? And she's facing this massive problem with such incredible courage. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's that juxtaposition, the innocence of a lemonade stand against this really heavy backdrop of cancer and financial struggle
Yeah.
that really tugs at your heartstrings.
For sure. For sure. And the story takes us through her days at the stand, some good, some not so good.
Right.
It talks about this kind neighbor, Miss Evelyn, who becomes a regular and even offers support and donations, which I thought was just the sweetest thing.
Yeah, it shows you the power of community. Even when you're going through something really tough, those small acts of kindness can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. But, of course, not everyone was so understanding.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Some people walked by like they didn't even notice her.
Hmm.
And it even mentioned some older kids being mean, like taunting her.
That's rough. I mean, it just goes to show how often we're not even aware of the struggles of those around us.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to just be present, pay attention to the people around you.
Hmm.
And through it all, Mia just keeps going day after day, squeezing lemons, making lemonade, never giving up.
She really embodies that never give up attitude.
And then, like something out of a movie, this Tesla pulls up to her stand.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Can you imagine being Mia in that moment?
Yeah.
You look up and it's Elon Musk.
Talk about a plot twist.
I know, right? And the story doesn't portray him as this like larger than life figure. He's genuinely curious.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the time to actually talk to Mia, asking about her mom, her motivation. It feels like a real human connection.
Mm-hmm. Which is so important, right? It would have been easy to just make it about a rich guy swooping in to save the day.
Right, yeah.
But focus on their interaction, their shared resilience. It makes it so much more powerful.
Totally. And it makes what happens next even more impactful.
Yeah.
So he hears Mia's story and decides to cover all of Jennifer's medical bills.
Wow.
Talk about life-changing.
That's huge. But it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
He doesn't just write a check and leave. He actually turns to the crowd that's gathered and he's like, hey, let's all do something. It's like he's saying, this isn't just about one family. There are countless others struggling.
Yeah.
And then he promises to match every dollar donated to Mia that day. I mean, come on. How amazing is that?
Talk about using your platform for good. It's incredible.
It's at that point that the story goes beyond just individual kindness. It becomes about something much bigger.
Yeah.
This idea of collective action, of using your influence to create real change, that's what's so fascinating to me.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to see how one small act, like setting up a lemonade stand, can have such a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
I mean, just to think about all those donations pouring in way beyond what anyone could have imagined,
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It really is, and it shows you the power of people coming together,
Right.
It wasn't just about helping Mia's family financially, although that was obviously huge.
Right.
It sparked this wave of support for cancer research
Mhm.
and other families going through similar struggles.
It's like, you know how sometimes you feel powerless when you think about those big issues like healthcare costs? It
Yeah.
feels like whatever you do is just a drop in the bucket.
Totally.
But then you see a story like Mia's, And you realize that even small acts can make a difference.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the money either.
Right.
Think about all the awareness that was raised. Suddenly, Mia's lemonade stand was making headlines, and people were talking about the hidden costs of the impact it has on families.
Yeah. It wasn't just another news story.
Hmm.
It was personal.
Yeah,
People could connect with it, empathize with it.
exactly. And that's what drives real change. When people feel emotionally invested, they're more likely to take action themselves.
For sure. And speaking of taking action, the story doesn't end with the donations and the media frenzy.
Right.
We also see the impact on Mia herself.
Mhm.
Imagine being her going through all of that at such a young age.
Oh, yeah.
It must have been so empowering for her to realize that her small act of courage had such far-reaching consequences.
It probably changed her whole perspective on what's possible, that even one person can make a difference. And the story really highlights that shift. It talks about how weeks later she's reflecting on everything that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and she uses her newfound platform to encourage others to act.
Wow.
She even asks this really powerful question: what will you do today to help someone in need?
It gives me chills.
It's not just about being grateful, it's a call to action.
Yeah, she goes from this little girl trying to help her mom to this spokesperson for change,
Yeah.
inspiring others to follow her lead.
It's amazing, and that's what makes this story so profound. It's not just a feel-good story. It speaks to the potential we all have to create positive change in the world, no matter how old we are or what resources we have.
Okay, so did this story tell us what happened with Mia's family? Beyond the financial help, did Jennifer's treatment go well?
Yeah, it does. Thankfully, it mentions that with the financial burden lifted, Mia's family could finally focus on Jennifer's recovery.
Okay, good.
There's a sense of relief, this new hope that they hadn't felt in a long time.
That must have been such a weight off their shoulders to be able to focus on healing and being together instead of constantly worrying about money.
Absolutely. And it just shows you how interconnected our physical and emotional well-being really are, by
Right.
taking away that financial pressure. Musk didn't just address a practical need, he enabled the family to heal emotionally.
It's amazing how all these different aspects of our lives are so intertwined. And did the story mention anything about the bigger societal implications of Mia's story going viral?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Beyond the impact on Mia's family and the donations, the story really sparked a huge conversation about healthcare access and affordability.
Yeah.
It forced people to confront the fact that so many families are struggling with the same issues every day.
That's important.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the heartwarming aspects of the story, but it also sheds light on these bigger systemic issues.
Right. And while what Musk did was incredible, it's not a solution for everyone facing these challenges. The
Right.
story kind of pushes us to think about what else needs to be done.
Like it's asking us to look beyond individual acts of kindness and think about how we can fix the root causes of these problems.
Exactly. It raises questions about the role of the government policy, changes community support systems.
Hmm.
It suggests that while stories like Mia's can inspire us, lasting change requires systemic solutions.
So we have this really personal story that touched millions of people and started a national conversation about healthcare. That's quite the impact for a lemonade stand.
It really is, and it goes to show you that sometimes even the most unexpected events can change the world.
Yeah. This story has been quite a journey,
Mm.
from a simple lemonade stand to a national conversation about healthcare and generosity.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It shows you that even the smallest actions can have a huge ripple effect.
What I find so powerful about Mia's story is how it speaks to us on so many different levels. Like on a personal level, it reminds us to be more empathetic,
Yeah,
to really see the people around us who might be struggling and not just walk by.
right. It's a call to be more present, more aware of what's happening in our own communities.
Exactly. And on a broader level, Mia's story shines a light on these systemic issues with healthcare.
Yeah.
The cost, the access to treatment, it forces us to acknowledge that this is a reality for so many families.
And it shows that anyone can be a catalyst for change,
Right.
even if you don't have a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Mia didn't set out to solve the healthcare crisis, but she ended up sparking a movement, raising awareness, and generating all the support for families in need.
It's really inspiring.
It proves that we don't have to wait for the government or big institutions to act.
Yeah.
We can make a difference right now in our own communities.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about the role of wealth and influence in creating social change.
Right, right.
I mean, Elon Musk's involvement definitely amplified Mia's efforts.
Yeah.
He gave her a platform and resources that she wouldn't have had otherwise.
It makes you wonder what would happen if everyone with that kind of wealth and power felt a responsibility to give back.
That's a really interesting question. What would it look like if giving back was the norm instead of the exception?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering. And,
Mm.
Mia's story is a powerful reminder that we all have a part to play in building a better future.
Absolutely.
It shows that our actions, no matter how small, can have an impact that reaches far beyond ourselves. And to the listener who shared this inspiring story with us,
Hmm.
we leave you with this. What small act of kindness or courage will you choose today? What change do you want to see in the world? Mia's story proves that even the smallest actions can spark incredible change. So go out there and make your mark.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you then.